Imagine you got a journalist interested enough to cover you for a story that they're writing. Now, if you didn't send them a press kit, you are practically begging them to not include you in their story. Today, we're going to make sure that that never happens to you again. I'm going to teach you all you need to know about press kits, a secret weapon that PR firms use to turn their clients into media darlings. This is PR Advisory, where small wineries and boutique businesses learn the exact strategies expensive PR firms use to get press that brings in clients. Press kits are a tried and true go-to for PR firms. They make journalists want to work with you and use you as a source for their stories. Let me explain why. Because what I'm about to tell you can change how quickly you can ramp up to getting great press coverage. When most small wineries and small businesses think of journalists, they see one thing, a person that's their ticket to getting press coverage. And while that's true, I think it's a big mistake to think of journalists only in this way. Look, of course you want them to give you press. We all know that. They know it, you know it. But if you want to become a media darling, meaning someone who's featured in the media all the time, you have to understand what's actually at risk for journalists. Journalists stake their reputations on the sources that they use in their stories. That means every business that they feature, every founder that they quote, every brand that they put in front of their readers, that is a journalist putting their credibility on the line. And it's not just with their editor, it's with their audience, the readers who trust this publication, who trust this writer, and who trust both of them enough to keep reading their stories. Those readers rely on the journalist to vet the brands and the people that they cover. If a journalist uses a winery as a source and that winery turns out to be a fly-by-night business that disappears in 6 months, or someone who just doesn't know what they're doing, that journalist looks like they haven't done their job. And people start to distrust their articles. That reduces the number of people who read their stories, which of course is going to impact their editor and the publication's reputation and livelihood. Careers have been damaged by using bad sources. Journalists are expected to write stories that contain trustworthy information that they vetted, verified, checked out. So when they are interested in possibly featuring you in one of their stories, they will not only evaluate your business, they're going to evaluate you. Are you legitimate? Are you serious? Are you the kind of operation that they can put in front of their audience without risking the trust that they have spent years building? Okay, so what does this have to do with the press kit? A great press kit helps to put those concerns to rest before they even arise. It signals, I am a real business. I am reputable and legitimate. I am worth your time and your reputation. By the way, there is a big upside that most winery owners never think about. A journalist who trusts you doesn't just write one story about you. They come back and include you in other articles, often without you ever even having to pitch them. One great press kit can turn a single story into an ongoing relationship that exposes you to a completely new audience for years. But show up looking like an amateur who just creates more work or headaches for the journalist, that journalist is just going to move on. They usually don't come back. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what goes in a press kit so that you can build one that makes journalists want to use you as a source and feature you in their stories. Not just once, but again and again and again. Okay, so let's get started. First, what is a press kit? A press kit is basically a collection of information about you and your business that helps journalists and bloggers and other media people understand you and your business from a writer's standpoint. Press kits can be printed or online, but for this lesson, I'm going to be speaking about an online press kit that you can create as a page on your winery or your business's website. Okay, so here's what goes in it. The first thing on your press page is your winery bio / founder story. The big mistake most new businesses make is thinking their winery bio is like a duplicate of their about page. It's not. The about page is for customers. It's warm, it's inviting, and it makes people want to come in for a tasting or purchase bottles of your wine. Your winery bio is written for journalists, not for people who are buying. Instead of warm and fuzzy, it should be professional and concise. Every winery bio should answer 2 questions immediately. 1, what is this winery? And 2, why does it exist? The first paragraph covers the business, what you make, where you're located, how much you produce, what makes your wines distinctive. The second paragraph is the human story. Who founded this winery and why? What makes this winery different from the hundreds of others out there, if not thousands? That second paragraph is where a journalist finds their story angle, so make it count. This section should be a maximum of 2 short paragraphs. Be clear, specific, and compelling. Okay, the second element of your press kit is what I call fast facts. This is a short list of bullet points. The purpose is to provide basic information fast. Journalists don't want to read through paragraphs to find information that should be simple, like your founding date. They want to be able to scan the information and just grab what they need. This section is to make all of the important information available at a glance. Include things like when you were founded, who founded it, where you're located, your appellation, the number of cases that you produce each year, your labels or collections, and any major awards or accolades worth noting. Think of it as the Cliff Notes version of your winery. Everything a journalist needs to get oriented in under 30 seconds. Okay, so the third element is your spokespeople. You want to provide the spokespeople who will speak to the press on behalf of your winery or small business. For most small wineries, that's usually the founder, or maybe your winemaker, or maybe both. This section should include each person's name and a photo, but don't stop there. Include a short bio, about 2 or 3 sentences, who they are, what they do, and what makes them credible. And also, I recommend that you include a quote. Choose a quote that shows their personality, their philosophy, or their point of view. Do not include a generic quote about loving wine. The purpose of this quote is to captivate a journalist, to pique their interest, and to start giving them ideas of questions to ask this person. Sometimes a journalist might actually drop the quote itself into a story. And then the last thing that you should include for the spokespeople is a list of interview topics. Now listen up. This is your secret weapon. Most businesses completely miss the boat on this one, and it is a huge opportunity. This in itself can create boundless opportunities for you and your business. Here's a tip. Think beyond wine. Think broader about your other experiences and expertise. For example, are you a female founder in a male-dominated industry? Or do you have a completely different cultural perspective to Napa or Willamette? Are you farming sustainably? Are you a second career winemaker who walked away from corporate? List what you know that you can very easily talk about. When you do, you've just made it significantly easier for a journalist to call you when they're working on a story on one of those topics. So the fourth thing that you should include is your wine collections. Now keep this list clean and organized. 1 section per label or collection if you have more than one. For each wine, include the basics: varietal, vintage, a brief description, and notable scores if you have them. Now, if you don't have any scores yet, don't worry about it. Just list your wines clearly and move on. Remember, this section is not your wine shop. You're not here trying to sell wine. You're trying to give a journalist information they need to write about your wine intelligently. So please skip the sales language. Journalists don't like it. No promises of what will delight their palate. Just write the section like a fact sheet. The fifth thing to include is your recent press. A lot of businesses get this wrong. They think that they need to provide every piece of press they've ever gotten with long summaries of the articles. A handful of recent press placements with the publication's logo and a one-line snippet is all you need. You just want journalists to know that other reputable journalists have already worked with you. That's going to build a lot of credibility. Okay, so what if you're brand new and you don't have any press yet? That's okay. Just leave this out for now. Do not put up a blank section. You don't have to apologize for not having any coverage yet. Because here's the thing, you're watching this channel and you're building your skills. You're going to get that first placement. And when you do, this section is going to go up immediately. Now, the sixth thing to include in your press kit is high resolution photos. Photos draw the eye far more than text does, period. Will they cover you if you don't supply photos? Possibly, but they do need photos, so it's possible that they'll use stock photos if you don't have any. Now listen to me, you do not want generic photos telling your story. So for Pete's sake, make sure that you have several high-resolution photos available in your press kit. A simple download link is all you need. Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever works for you. So what types of photos should you include? Here's some ideas. Your winery exterior, your vineyard, your bottles, people working, sorting grapes, checking barrels, pouring wine. Make sure to include people like your founder and/or winemaker, and no boring headshots. That's my recommendation. And remember, all photos need to be high resolution, so that means at least 300 dpi. It's got to be large enough to print. Now, the seventh thing to include in your press kit is the press contact. This is so simple, but so many people mess it up. You'd be amazed how many wineries make this hard to find. For your press contact, include the name of one person. Provide one email address. My suggestion, also include a phone number because you never know when someone will need to reach you urgently for a deadline. Do not ever send journalists to a general contact form. Don't make them hunt all over your website to figure out who to call either. A journalist on deadline who can't figure out who to reach will probably just move on to the next winery. The last thing to include in your press kit are your social media handles. Just put them on one line at the bottom. Your Instagram handle, maybe your Facebook. That's it. That's all you need. When your press kit is available online, it's available with one simple URL link. It gives journalists everything they need without having to ask for it all in one place. Just remember, it's your job, if you're smart, to make it effortless to work with you. When you build a simple, easy to access, easy to read press kit, you give journalists the basics of what they need before they even have to ask for it. So smart. That is a great start to becoming a media darling. If you found this information valuable, please subscribe on YouTube and your podcast channels. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the bell so you'll know when the next lesson drops. And if you want hands-on help building your press kit and your entire PR strategy, visit winePRadvisory.com. There's one program, it's hands-on, and it's built for small wineries who are serious about getting press coverage. I'll see you in the next lesson.